Hello children. Today we will discuss with a new chapter of economics, that is money and credit. In this chapter we are going to learn some important following concepts like the importance and evolutions and the functions of money and some importance of banks. After that we are going to learn the functions of Reserve Bank of India, and we will learn the concept of money supply and its measurement, and we are going to learn some important credit control measures which has been adopted by a Reserve Bank of India. So we'll study one by one. Let us discuss what does this money means. As Robertson has described, money is nothing but which is anything widely accepted for the goods and for the discharge of business obligations. It means that money is something with the help of which we can exchange all the goods and services into the world. But in the ancient time, when there was a barter system, during that period, it was very difficult to exchange the goods and services due to the double coincidence of wants. But when the money has evolved, it has made easier for each and every individual for the purpose of exchange of goods and services and to discharge any of the business obligation, because the business is very easy when there is the money. And now we are going to come with some importance of money. Money is one of an important discovery that has made day to day transactions. We are going to have a lot of transactions day to day only with the help of money. If there was no money at all, it was difficult for us to have day to day transactions in the form of buying and selling or whatever it may be. But when the money has been discovered, it has helped us to have daily transactions easy. And the second importance, that is valuing the goods and services. We can measure the value of goods and services with the help of money, because this money has helped us, or it has made us easy to value the goods and services in an easiest way. The third one is we can buy goods and services by using money. All the goods and services advantage can be taken by us only with the help of money, but it was very difficult without the money to use or to buy the goods and services. And even though money has helped us to store the wealth for the future period in an easiest way as well. They have given in the picture, as we can save our money for the future period as well. We can save our wealth for the future period as well. Like they have given for the retirement, or for the household benefits, or for the vacation, or for the college fees as well. For all these purpose, we can save our money for the future benefit or for the future advantage. With this money has helped us for the purpose of storing our wealth for the future purpose. And how this money has totally evolved, what are the stages? Let's go through it. The first stage which is there, that is the barter system. Barter system is nothing but exchange of the goods with the goods without the use of money, where this process, it was famous in the ancient time. Two parties, they were exchanging goods with the goods, but there was no money at all. You can see in the picture, two people, they are exchanging the goods with the goods, but there is no any monetary term, or there is no any monetary transaction which is involved here in the barter system. But in the ancient time, it was very difficult during the barter system because of the double coincidence of wants. Let me give you an example. If you had a cow and you wanted to purchase or you want to get a ship in exchange for this cow, but you have to search one individual who not only had a ship but who is also in need of a cow only, because in the ancient time there was a double coincidence of wants, due to which it was very difficult for an individual to exchange the goods and services in the barter system. After the barter system, there was a new form of money which has came into effect, which was known as a commodity money. This commodity money has a prescribed or a particular size and weight, which was adopted for the measurement or for the standard of commodity. This commodity money, it was in different form in the different parts of the world, where in Greece cattle was known as a commodity money, and ship was known as a commodity money in Rome, and teeth of elephant, it was known as a commodity money in China. But this commodity money could not solve all the difficulties of the barter system, due to which the commodity money has not given any solution for the barter system. So we have come with the new evolution of money, which is known as metallic money. This metallic money gradually was in different forms in many parts of the world, where it was in the form of gold coins, silver, bronze, and in many other form as well. You can see in the picture which they have given about the metallic money. This commodity money, it was having a particular weight, their fineness, and their acceptability of the individual people as well. And even though it was good form of medium of exchange for the goods and services as well, but this metallic money has not run for a maximum period or for a maximum time, where it was very difficult to carry, or it was very difficult to portable as well, and it was not convenient to make the payment for an individual also, because this metallic money, it was in a bulk quantity. To solve this metallic money problem, there was a new form of money which has came into effect, which was known as a paper money. The central bank has been established by the government of our India to print the notes currencies, where this central bank is known as Reserve Bank of India, which has been established on 1st of April 1935. But this Reserve Bank of India has been nationalized on the 1st of January 1939. And this central bank of our India has helped us to get the legal tender of currency for each and every individual citizen of our nation. Remember, no individual can refuse this legal currency in their respective countries. The legal tender of our India is in the form of a rupee, whereas in USA it is in the form of a dollar, and in England it is in euro, and whereas in England it is in pound, and in Europe it is in euro, and in Japan it is yen, and in China it is yuan. With this kind of different forms of paper money has been came into effect in different parts of the world. But in the ancient time, the government of our India has issued the first paper money, which was in the form of promissory notes, which was also known as currency as well. But later the government of our India has started printing the currency notes, where each and every individual started accepting the legal tender currency of our India. After this paper money, the new form of money has came into effect, which was known as a bank money. Normally, banks are issuing checks, demand drafts, and slips or receipts in the form of a paper money, or sorry, in the form of a bank money. These bank money are being accepted in the banks for the purpose of transactions of an account holder. It may be in the form of a pay in slip book, you can see in the picture which they have given, or it may be in the form of a check. These all the types of bank money has helped us to make transactions in an easiest way, where we can make the transactions in lakhs and crores as well, just in a single paper or in a small paper. It has solved the problem of metallic money or the commodity money, where it was difficult to carry the money from one place to another place. But now, with the help of this bank money, we can have the transactions in an easiest way, or we can transfer the money from one person to another person, or from one place to another place in a short span of time. After this type of money, we have got a new type of money, that is known as plastic money. This plastic money has been recently innovated by the banks into our India, by the private banks and by the public banks, where this plastic money has helped us not to carry any cash into our pocket. We can just carry a small card into our pocket with huge amount of the money in it, where we are going to get a pin for this plastic money, that is known as personal identification number. And the plastic money is in the form of debit card and credit card, which is also being termed as e-money also, or electronic money as well. The next important we are going to learn, that is the functions of money. Normally the functions of money has been subdivided into two types. The first one is primary function and the second is secondary function. Primary function of money has been subdivided into two types, and the secondary function of money has been subdivided into three types. The two types of primary functions of money are, the first one is medium of exchange or the means of payment. What exactly it means? It means that this money which is being evolved, it has helped us to buy or to sell the goods and services and to make the payment in a corresponding way. Where earlier it was very difficult to buy or sell the goods and services during the barter system. But when the money has been evolved, it has helped us for the medium of exchange in the form of buying and selling of goods and services. The second type in the primary function is measure of value. You know, there are different prices of goods and services in the world are being expressed in the terms of money itself, where we are able to measure the value of a product or the value of a service with the help of money itself. But in the ancient time, it was very difficult to determine the value of goods and services. But now it has helped us to measure the value of a product with the help of money in an easiest way. The second type of function of money is known as secondary function. Secondary function of money has been subdivided into three types. The first type which is there, that is known as standard of deferred payments. The word deferred is nothing but future payment. The word deferred, it means future. This money which is there, it has helped us to make payment even though in the future period also. It means we can have the transactions for the future period as well. Like an example, a borrower who is there, borrower means a person who takes loan is under an obligation to pay a specified sum of money on a specified future date as well. A person who is going to take the loan, he need not to pay the loan on the spot or at a particular time itself, but he is going to get the time to pay money for the future period also, because this money which has came into effect, it has helped for the deferred or the future payment as well. But for this we need to have a proper relationship. We need to have a trustworthy between two individuals. And the second type of secondary function is known as store of value. The money which has been came into effect, it has helped us to store or to make the property where the future is being guaranteed or it is totally assured, and every individual is looking to save or store some wealth or property or cash for their future help. Accumulation is nothing but to save or to deposit. Now every individual is getting benefit to store their wealth or property or money for the future benefit, because future is guaranteed or assured. Like we are going to save the property in the form of land, in the form of building, in the form of car, or they have given in the picture like tractor or agriculture fields or many more things as well. What is the reason? Because this money has helped us to store our property for the future period which is being guaranteed. And the last important type of this secondary function is known as transfer of value. The transfer of value is nothing but we are going to exchange the goods from one place to another place at a distant places. But this money which is there, it has eased us or it has helped us to transfer the goods and services from one person to another person or from one place to another place in an easiest way, because we can also transfer the money from one person to another person or from one place to another place also, where this money has made it easy to transfer the value or money in an easiest way. The next important topic we are going to learn today from this chapter, that is banks. You know, banks in our India presently are playing a pivotal role for the development of economy or trade and commerce of our country. With the Indian Banking Regulation Act of our India of 1949 has defined the term banking. Now what exactly this term banking has been defined? The term banking is defined as accepting the deposit from public for the purpose of lending or investment. Like in India, we have the system of banks which has been consisted in different forms. We have 20 public sector banks, we have 21 private banks, and we have 45 foreign banks as well. But all these banks in our India are being regulated or controlled by a Reserve Bank of India. And along with this, we have different forms of banks in the form of regional rural banks, in the form of cooperative banks as well. Now we are going to learn some importance of banks. Banks are playing an important role for the mobilizing means collecting the savings of public and make this available for the investors and thereby helping for the purpose of capital formation. Here, banks are helping us for the purpose of collections of savings of the public, and this savings which is there, it will be helping us for the purpose of capital formation. And this amount of savings which is there into the bank, it is always available for the investors in the form of loans. And those people who are going to take money in the form of loans from the banks are being termed as borrowers. The second importance of a bank is helping us for the purpose of remittance. What this remittance exactly means? Remittance is nothing but transfer of money from one place to another place. When this bank has been evolved, it has helped us to transfer the money from one person to another person, or from one place to another place as well. For example, if your father is staying in America, he can also transfer money from America into India as well. With the help of what? With the help of the bank account. The third importance of the bank is banks are going to offer maximum rate of interest on fixed deposit, and they are going to give loans to the borrowers at the lesser rate of interest as well. you know there are four types of accounts which can be opened by a customer into the bank account. The one type of account is known as saving bank account, second is current account, third is a recurring deposit account, and the fourth is known as fixed deposit account, where if a fixed deposit account holder is there, for him the bank is going to offer or give higher or maximum rate of interest compared to the other accounts. And along with this, bank is also going to give loans to the borrowers whoever are in need of money, but these loans are being offered by the banks at lesser or lower rate of interest. The fourth importance of the banks is they lend money even though to the sectors of our Indian economy for the development of our Indian economy as well. Which are the three sectors of the Indian economy? The first one is primary sector, which is also termed as agriculture sector as well. The second one is secondary sector, which is known as industrial sector, and the third one is known as tertiary sector, which is also known as service sector as well. So for the development of our economy, banks are also lending loans to agriculture, industries, and even though to the service sector also. And the next importance which is there, banks are going to issue demand drafts, credit cards, debit cards, and the banks also invest the funds on the securities of the government as well. Presently, banks are not only issuing passbook or checkbook as well, but along with that, they are also providing us the advantage to make the payment with the help of DD or demand draft as well. Along with this, the banks are also offering us services of debit cards and credit cards as well, where we can also have the easy transactions with the help of the plastic money. And along with this, the banks are also helping us for the purpose of investment of the funds on the securities or the properties of the governments also. Along with this, we are going to learn the next important topic, that is about the Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India is also known as the Central Bank of India. It is also known as Bankers Bank as well. But for 1 marks in the board examination, they are going to ask you one question. Why Reserve Bank of India is known as Bankers Bank, Mother of Banks, or the Central Bank of India? The answer is Reserve Bank of India is known as Bankers Bank, Central Bank, or the head of all the banks of India, because all the banking transactions in India are being controlled by RBI itself. You know, this Reserve Bank of our India has came into effect during the British period only, where it has been established on the 1st of April 1935. But the RBI has been nationalized on 1st of January 1949.